What do we do for the week ahead, since the earnings season has kick-started off very well with what Infy has done? To talk about that, on the technicals, Ashwini Gujral, and on the fundamentals, Avinash Gorakhshekar. Thanks so much for joining in, gentlemen, both of you. Ashwini, 6096, we are at the upper end of the range from where we are typically, or very close to the upper end of the range from where we have corrected the last few times. Can this time be something different?
Well, it's difficult to say that, whether we are breaking out of the 5500, 6100 range. But definitely, the market seems to be much stronger than otherwise. We saw on a couple of days when the Dow was down triple digits. We managed to open down and then again bounce back. So that just shows a strong market, and basically as long as 5980, 6000 holds on, it's possible that we make further gains. Maybe, just maybe, the range is shifting from 5561 to about 5700 downside to about 6300 on the upside. Today's participation by the Bank Nifty is heartening, and in case we can get some good news domestically also, that would lead the market to move higher. But definitely we are getting into ranges where there is resistance at every 50 points. So you have to continuously evaluate the market and get ready for pullbacks and turns whenever they happen.
Avinash, come in on this one. After the numbers and the bump up that we've seen in Infosys already, what's the call here? Would you be a buyer at current levels or a buyer at lower levels, or won't buy at all?
No, I think, Neeraj, definitely numbers have been, in line with market expectations, and especially, with the lower end of the guidance being revised upwards, I think there is a clear indication that possibly the second half could be better. In fact, my sense is that, the Infy management has possibly given a very cautious guidance. It could actually, exceed these expectations, and therefore, definitely around 3,000, 3,100, I would be a buyer. And my sense is that probably one could expect a target price of close to about 3,500. Clearly, I think, the guidance which has been given, my sense is it's slightly conservative, but it could be more than, say, 11-12%, which is the kind of growth NASSCOM is talking for the entire sector. So clearly, I think numbers were in line with expectations. I think except for the fact that this quarter's profit was slightly below the consensus estimates, my guess is the second half could possibly see a positive surprise, and there could be some revision in the guidance. So overall, I would be a buyer around 3,100 levels for a target of 3,500.
Okay, thanks for that, Avinash. On to some other newsmakers, and Ranbaxy feature amongst them. Mind you, the OHM lab plant cleared by the US FDA, and it said that, of course, that the company can file applications from OHM labs for the US. So there is one plant that is cleared for Ranbaxy to make supplies to the US, and that resulted in the stock, probably market men preempting this move as well. So 10.5 or 11% higher for Ranbaxy this week. So that was one big mover in trade. The other one probably more muted than Ranbaxy, and that is GAIL, wherein reports suggested it may be exempted from a subsidy sharing burden, and that would be a big move for Gas Authority of India, and which is why probably there's a little bit of a spurt that we saw in Friday's session for GAIL. Ashwini, what do you do with Ranbaxy now? It's had a 10% or 11% kind of a move. Again, a stock that is probably trading close to the upper end of its range.
Well, you would recall that, sometime back in August, it had, I think, a 20% move one day from 280 right up to 350, and then when it reached 460, it had a 30% down move. I don't think this is a stock which is very useful in terms of creating wealth. I would just ignore this stock, because there is no way you can, get a handle on the fundamental developments and which plants are getting banned, and this is just no way any charting information can help you trade this stock.
Avinash, there's a lot of news flow in the real estate space. The REITs news, or of course the talk of the land prices, etc. that came in on that over the weekend as well. What do you do with some of the mid-sized real estate names?
I think, Neeraj, clearly there's been good amount of, trading bounce seen in most of the real estate stocks. But I think clearly, the quality names, clearly, which have got very less debt on the balance sheets and which have got good visibility in terms of order book, I think something like an Oberoi Realty or a Godrej Property, I think these are only few, noticeable mid-cap stocks which I would like to bet on. On the large cap space, especially a DLF or a Unitech, my sense is I think, these are more of a kind of a technical bounce, and clearly the fundamentals are yet not justifying the kind of price we are seeing. So probably, across the sector, maybe there are not many buys, but within them, I think Oberoi Realty and Godrej Properties can be looked at. These could be good positional kind of buys.
Ashwini, what is it that you're liking from the real estate space?
See, the stocks like Brigade, particularly the Bangalore-based stocks, Brigade, Prestige, all of these stocks look like there is still 15 to 20% on the upside for these stocks. Other than that, the regular ones, India Bulls and DLF, even those are looking strong. I think rate sensitives are kind of making a comeback, sensing that there may be some softening of inflation.
Your trading calls for Monday morning.
Well, PNB is a buy with a stop of 486, target of 515. Canara Bank is a buy with a stop of 238, target of 256. And ICICI Bank is a buy with a stop of 980, target of 1040.
As Ashwini said, the next 2-3 days may well belong to banks. Avinash, though, amongst the earnings, what would you watch out for? L&T, Reliance, the banks, which one would be the most watched out for?
I think Neeraj, Reliance would definitely be keenly watched, because I think the stock has also gathered good amount of interest. In fact, around 860, 865 the stock looks pretty attractive, and if at all the rupee depreciation works more favorably in terms for the company's financials, my guess is anything above 5450 to 5500 crores would mean that the markets would give it a thumbs up. My sense is I think probably you could see a price of even 900 rupees on Reliance. So I would be looking forward to Reliance numbers. I mean, L&T, as was rightly mentioned, there could be some softness in the profit margins, and probably one could see some fall post the results, but clearly Reliance would be a key result to watch.
Very quickly, Avinash, any recommendations from the medium term?
From the medium term, Neeraj, we like a stock called eClerk. This is a well-established KPO and has been doing pretty well. In fact, one of the good IT mid-cap stories. Even at the current levels of roughly about 1040, we have been recommending it to our clients. We feel that in the next 6 months, we could see another 20% upside. The dollar has strengthened, and more importantly, we have been hearing that good amount of pricing deals have happened for the company. So clearly, with an earnings of roughly about 90 to 93 rupees for FY15, my sense is we could see a price target of roughly about 1250, 1270 in the next 6 months.
Good having you, Avinash. Thanks so much for joining in. Ashwin, thanks for joining with your recommendations as well.